water, earth, fire, air.
It's not even in order. Oh, God.
Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Welcome, everyone, to a nerd-schooled production. This is Revisited. Welcome. This is the show where me and my friends, we get together and we nerd out and rank everything in a specific franchise that we're talking about, which in this case happens to be Avatar the Last Airbender. Of course, we are starting with Book 1. Of course, joining me is...
My name is Frank Gonzalez. Momo was taken.
My name is Chris Tatum.
Momo was taken.
You can say Appa was taken.
My name is Chris Tatum. I was Chris Tatum.
Momo was taken!
I'm back. I'm sorry. I am Chris Tatum. Appa was taken.
I'm Miriam. Azula was taken.
And I am Winston. I was taken.
I feel like we should be doing this for when we do the Taken series.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's right. That
Wait,
makes more sense.
we're doing the Taken series.
It was taken.
Yes, we are talking about Avatar: Last Airbender, Book 1, created by Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I think
Konetsko.
Konietzko.
I think it's
You went-
DiMartini
You went
and Konetsko.
Palpatine for that? No.
Yes. It aired from February 2005 to December 2005. That is Book 1. Frank, how many times have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 1? And did anything change rewatching it?
I've seen it twice. Once in my middle 20s. And I did like the artwork. I liked the presentation of it, but it was a little on the kid side for me. I was watching deeper, darker anime at that time. Now that I've watched it as an older, later 20s and beyond person, I've come to appreciate a lot more of the themes standing out. In fact, they stand out in a way that I appreciate in my stories now. So this has definitely engendered itself to me a little bit more this second time around.
That's awesome. Cool. Chris, how many times have you seen Book 1? Did anything change your watching?
I've seen Book 1 about 4 times. It's one of my I love Book 1 a lot. It's not my favorite season, but it is one of my more of the 3 and of the series, including Korra, one of my favorite seasons. I just went off track because sorry,
Spoilers.
right?
Well, Chris maintains his composure. I'm going to put some of the doctor in my mouth.
Perfect. No,
Brought to you by the doctor.
brought to you by the doctor. Yeah, I've not much has changed because for me, when I started watching it, I was 13, 14, and so it at least helped me kind of grow up as one of the shows that kind of taught you life lessons.
Oh.
So I see it through that nostalgia lens. Older, I've noticed like foreshadowing and like art styles and stuff that has changed, and the technicality of the behind the scenes I've noticed a lot more. But just watching it through the same lens, I mean, it hits all the same emotional beats for me. So yeah.
Cool. Babe, how many times have you seen Book 1?
4 times now. I've watched it. Let's see. I watched it when it came out on TV when it aired in 2005. And then I watched it again when I bought the physical versions. Yes, that's mine, and it's old. And then
not
I
a
watched it. And then I watched it when we started dating, or when we were engaged.
When we were engaged, yeah.
Yeah, because I really wanted you to see it, and then I just watched it for the 4th time for this.
Yep. And did anything change when you rewatched it?
It's still as awesome as I remember it.
Nice.
Cool. For me, I heard a lot about Avatar growing up, and growing up, I wasn't able to watch a lot of kid shows. And Miriam talked a lot about this when we got together, and I was just like, no, it's a stupid kid show. I'm not gonna watch it. And she's like, no, please watch it. And I was like, no, I didn't watch it. And then one time, I got home and I saw her watching. It was later on. It was either book 2 or 3, and I was like, and I just kind of sat there, continued watching, and I got cooked. And she's like, "You want to watch the whole thing, don't you?" And I was like, "All right, let's see. I'm probably not gonna like it."
I remember it was because Zuko was on there, and you were like, "I really like that character," and I was like, "Of course you like that character. I like that character."
The whole story leans to you being hipster because I don't want to watch this kid cartoon that everybody loves. And then the first person I like is the most hipster character on the show.
I don't know.
Well, okay. I will admit this. Even though I love season 1, I didn't watch it right off. Like, I didn't see it until, like, the second season already premiered and was finished. And then people were like, no, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. And I'm like, fine. And then I watched, maybe it got to where Aang was captured. And I was like, oh, I'm in love with this. And I was hooked. So it was very much when Zuko arrived, that was the same thing for me, where I was like, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, Zuko's just,
So,
I love those. Like,
in your defense, I get you. I totally get where you're coming from. Don't let these two
Not in
hate
your
on
defense, you're a hipster.
you. No. It's not a hipster thing. It's not a hipster
it wasn't about
thing.
that. It was just like, I was like, I don't want to watch a stupid kid show, you know? That was the mindset in. Very wrong mindset.
No, yeah.
But you watched Naruto.
Yes, and the first and Naruto,
And not
the
to be
original.
like, that's a kid's show, but
No.
like, it was meant to be a kid's show.
No, yeah, Naruto, like the first series, is very
we're
much-
gonna beep those out. They're like the M word. You can't say the N word here. While we're talking about Avatar.
We
very
can't
much
say
it is.
Naruto. I mean, N-word. Not that N-word, by the way.
Yeah, that's why I hesitated too. I was like, oh no, that's an actual N word.
You can do that.
No, but it is a kid show, and this, especially when I watched book 1 for the first time, I was like, this is a dumb kid show. And then, you know, you get through it and you're like, okay, this is getting slowly better. And then by the end of the season, I was all like, this is getting good. And I just got hooked and I had to keep going, you know? So, yeah. And then we're rewatching it again. I haven't rewatched it for a long time. I haven't even said how many times I've watched it. I think this is my 3rd time. I want to say it's my 3rd time. It's either my 2nd or 3rd.
That's your second.
It's my 2nd? Okay. She says it's my 2nd, so it's my 2nd.
Because you watched it first when we got engaged, and then
yeah.
you watched it again just now.
Yeah.
And how long have you been married, for the record?
5 years.
Okay, 5 years. It's been a little
So
while.
then I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like it's taken you guys so long to get back? And I'll even answer mine to Avatar. Do you just feel like you just needed a break from it, or
I've watched it 4 times now.
Well, no, I know you.
So I
well, that's
think
what
for
I'm saying.
me, that
So-
question's like, doesn't matter.
Null and void.
Okay.
For me, I most time don't rewatch series.
Okay.
So like we watched this and then we watched Korra and everything, and I even read the comics and everything. But most time don't rewatch something unless I'm really digging it, you know. And that's another reason why I love this show, because I can go back and see what I thought of something if it's as accurate as I remembered, you know. Because sometimes you look at things with rose-colored glasses. In this case, it's better than I remembered. Like the first few episodes are pretty childish, and it gets pretty like they start adding stakes pretty early on. But
I don't think it's childish right off the bat. After the second time that you watch it, because now you know why Aang is acting in such a childish way, or why Katara acts in such a defensive, like why she's so defensive, and why Sokka is so like machista. He's like, no, girls can't fight, and it's like he gets over it, which is good. But when you go back and watch it, you're like, it's just that's normal for Sokka because this.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into rankings. So, let's start it off. Since this is the Book of Water, let's start it off with the best waterbender. Obviously, we have Katara, and we also have the other guy that you just mentioned that I forgot his name.
He's not a waterbender. Sokka's not a water.
No, not Sokka. The instructor from the North Pole.
Mhm.
What was
I
his
can't
name?
remember his name. I would have to look it up.
Starts with a G.
I mean, just to fill the void.
Hey, Chris, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Why didn't you revisit it for a
Paco.
while?
It is.
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason that I've watched it 4 times, and I would like to hit on that. It very much resonated with me because well, especially with the Zuko story, finding your own path, it very much at least with a little boy, the sense of honor and
So
learning
good.
what honor is, very much resonated with me because that was a big struggle for him, especially in book 1, was so focused on one goal, thinking that that would redeem him, and not realizing that, one, he didn't need to be redeemed in the first place, and 2, that there are many types of actions that you can take, especially at a young age, to feel accomplished and to feel redeemed and to feel honorable.
Yes.
I want to touch in on that.
Actually, yeah, I do. I do.
I think one of the reasons why I liked Zuko's character so much is because I guess I just related with the parenting styles and how he was trying to be like, I just want to be enough for my parent.
Oh, yeah.
And just being like, it's not just about my honor, it's about being enough for this said parent. So I guess for me, it hit that note of like never really feeling like you were enough, and then kind of coming to terms with, you know what, I'm a kid. He's only 16. Yeah, during book 1,
Yes.
and I think I was like 12 when I watched it. So I was kind of like, even at 16, you can be going through that struggle, and I'm like, I guess this is just a lifelong struggle until you like find your own way to make peace with like, sometimes, you know what, I'm not gonna be enough.
And speaking of Zuko, introducing mind-bending facts. Zuko was one of the last characters to be written into the show.
Ah,
The Fire Lord was meant to be
he's bending
the
my mind.
The Fire Lord was meant to be the show's main antagonist, but the writers realized he would not be able to cause Aang and his friends trouble sitting from his throne. Zuko was then written into the show. And a little add-on to that is Jeff Goldblum was reported to have been cast as Zuko, but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts, which
I'm happy for.
yes. Thank
Donnie
you.
Brasco
That was-
talks about this on his podcast with Janet Varney and how he's one of the last to have been casted before they actually put the entire season together. And he talks about it just being a whirlwind process and him sitting down and trying to relate to this character and then realizing, because he grew up in Hollywood, how very similar his life was. It's just like you were expected to do all of these amazing things the second you stepped out. He was a dancer, he was an actor, he did all of these different things, and meeting those expectations, just like you two talked about, he could immediately resonate with Zuko's character. And you get that in a performance where if you see Donnie Brasco, we all go, that's Rufio. But when you hear him, he's nothing but Zuko.
Yeah.
All the way.
And actually, I had a rant that I wanted to do here, and it starts off quoting Zuko from, I think it's either the second last episode or the last episode of book 1. Quote, "I finally have you, but I can't get you home because of this blizzard. There's always something. Not that you would understand. You're like my sister. Everything always came easy to her. She's a firebending prodigy, and everyone adores her. My father says she was born lucky. He says I was lucky to be born. I don't need luck, though. I don't want it. I've always had to struggle and fight. That's what made me strong. It's made me who I am." What immaculate, just the writing for Zuko is so good. And like you guys said, like, I can relate to that 100% too. Even though he's the youngest child, out of the two, I'm the middle child, but still, I'm like, I feel that, you know, like, just like you can hit one thing after another just to please others, but when you get that mindset of just like what's gone on in your life has made you who you are, and it's made you hopefully a better person. If not, you've learned how to overcome that. That's just like, it's, I think another reason why everyone does love Zuko, because he's just so relatable in that sense.
I very much, and I even just wrote this down to remind myself to bring it up. Why Zuko? Like, why do we feel so related to Zuko when Aang is the main character
And Zuko's a bad guy.
and Zuko's the bad guy? And I think it's that for Zuko, they really focused on not the coming of age, but the internal debate that we have within all teenagers of who we are and what we want to be and stuff like that. And so that's more relatable, where Aang is kind of going through his own journey of being the Avatar and that full realization.
He's still going through an internal struggle.
It's an internal struggle, but it's not
The
that-
story builds a coming of age because they're children, but
Right.
the themes, especially the monastic themes
Right.
of monks and nations, gives like a coming to enlightenment
Yeah.
for the individuals.
And what I mean with that is that Aang at least knows the end of his destination. Zuko has no idea what he wants.
Yep.
And so for a lot of kids, especially me, not knowing at all, I still don't know, by the way, it just resonates. So I think that, and I think that's why.
Another foil to that, I think, is like, you know, if you think about this as a kid show, when you find out that the blue demon, I think it is,
The
when-
blue dragon or the
Blue
blue
spirit.
the blue spirit, that's
Yes,
it.
sorry.
When you find out that the blue spirit is Zuko, like,
Spoiler alert.
what?
Yeah,
It's
been out for years.
Yeah.
when we find out that the blue spirit is Zuko, like if I was a kid watching that, I would be like, what? How this doesn't make any sense. He's the bad guy, you know? And it gives a really good twist that like good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things. And also there's a big gray area there too, you know? That it doesn't matter.
He's still
Like, you-
doing it with
There's malice, but
yeah,
yeah.
because he's
like
doing it for the
the
wrong
Punisher.
reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's like also you know, in Zuko's mind, it's, you know, he has to get something done. Whether it's good or bad, he's there for the objective and he's gonna get it done. You know? So let's get into ranking the firebenders. Obviously we have Zuko, but honestly, at this point, I don't think he's a very good firebender.
No.
You know? He's doing things the wrong way, and also he's inexperienced. So it's kind of like, you know, because later on we see Admiral Zhao and everything, and he's doing things the wrong way too. We'll get into why and everything. Don't want to touch on spoilers just in case somebody hasn't seen the other two books.
Even though it's been out for 17 years.
Yeah, don't watch this video. Go watch Avatar.
No, don't say that.
The Last Airbender.
Watch the first book
season.
and then come back.
Yes.
I was getting
Oh,
there.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I don't think he's not good at all. Admiral Zhao doesn't do it the right way,
No, yeah.
but he's experienced, so he's still decent. He's a very decent firebender. But as we see also in it, what is the other
Zhang Zhang?
Zhang Zhang.
Is it Zhang Zhang?
Yeah, he's the,
But
the
is
trainer
that-
that won't train.
Is
Yes.
that book one?
That is book one.
That is book
Yeah.
one. Okay, I just
And he is
amazing.
very
Yeah, I was gonna say if I have a vote right now, it's Zhang Zhang.
yeah, Zhang
Because
Zhang.
it's also understated. Like you're like, oh, he's a master, but is he really that strong? And you could see like there's stuff that he's not even
Trying.
Yeah,
He's not like
he's not trying.
Yeah.
And also his mentality toward firebending is somebody who's definitely mastered it and mastered it the right way. Where he's all like, when he's talking to Aang, he's like, you know, you know wind, and you're starting to learn water, but this is something that's a living organism. It can consume things, you know.
It'll continue to breathe once you stop earth bending, it'll stop. The
Yeah.
fire will continue.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, if he had like stayed there and things that hadn't gone wrong, I think he would have been a great teacher for Aang. It would
I
have taken
disagree, actually.
Really?
And I don't want to touch too much base on this, but I feel like he was teaching Aang wrong once we get to book 3 about firebending.
Okay.
And I feel that they did that on purpose.
Honestly,
Like
I
it would have been rushed, and that's why he's even saying it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's another mind-bending fact.
Go for it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to shock you. So the mask that Zuko uses for the blue spirit, it's a connection to his long-lost mom, because he's basing his secret identity around a favorite story of hers, So it's the antagonist of the story of our favorite story.
Actually, no.
Did it?
Yeah.
That's
I
rad.
actually do remember something about that in the comics that I read years ago, so I don't remember much about
Whoa.
the comics.
Comics.
Yeah.
You can read?
There's comics of these things?
Yeah.
Where can we find those?
For starters,
Amazon.
there's they made a comic for what happened to his mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What did happen to us?
There's an expanded universe.
Yes.
Check it out.
Yeah. So we have we have the fire bending master at number 1.
Jump.
John.
I would disagree at number 1. If we're saying number 1 is the top spot as the best,
Yeah, of course.
and we're saying that he's sleeping on his power, I would like to say Uncle Iroh.
And I was gonna say, if not,
Man.
Jung Uncle Iroh.
Iroh.
I want to see those two fight.
Another mind-bending fact for you. Iroh was not originally meant to be Zuko's uncle. He was
Oh.
originally meant to be merely a fire-bending mentor to Zuko.
It means
But
so much more.
But I would completely agree with you. I think Iroh is an amazing firebender, and he doesn't even show half of it in this book. So it's kind of a little spoiler.
You can
but
tell how shocked General Zhao is
Yeah.
when he starts fighting him.
At the
For
end.
real.
Yeah, he's like,
For real.
whoa.
Well, it's they do hint at it a lot of the times, and General Zhao is the one that'll say it. He is the last dragon, like the dragon.
So he's aware of his what do you call it?
His expertise,
Did we just do the same thing?
Of his
knowledge.
no, keep guessing.
I'm like,
Compatibility?
expertise?
His reputation
Abilities?
from the past.
Repertoire,
Yeah.
if you will.
He had a reputation.
Yeah.
He had a notoriety.
Yeah.
And he's basing it on that. Like, that's who you used to be.
Yeah.
And he's still that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
still-
that guy, pal.
He's
He's
that
that guy.
He's that
He's
guy.
that guy.
He's that.
He's that
Still
guy.
that
Oddly enough, another mind-bending fact about since we're talking. The
You have to
character
do like it's a
Admiral.
brain freeze.
Yeah, the character Admiral Zhao was inspired by the character William Tavington from The Patriot. Casting director, I'm gonna butcher this, Mariana Daisy.
Daisy.
We're sorry to your family.
Marianne Daisy.
It's all the Daisy family.
Why'd you
Yes.
give her a Spanish name?
Was cast, was
It's Mary Ann. And
He
said
did it to
Mariana.
Di Martini too. He's like, "That's my dad."
We're sorry to your friends and family.
what she was asked to find someone like the character and managed to get Jason Isaacs, who portrayed Tavington in the film.
Wow.
Yeah. When you think of a classic villain, one of the British actors named Jason Isaacs is really good at all these things, and he brings the general to life for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
So neither have I, but
100%, you say?
100%.
chance. It's just gonna be like a stamp. 100 chance. So okay, so we're putting Uncle Iroh in number 1.
Oh yeah, I would easily say throughout.
You could even go
most
like
of the
1A,
series,
1B. There,
Yeah,
you
there-
can flip. You can flip.
We would really have to, if I don't know if they ever do this in the live action. See if they fight each other. I'm not, spitballing.
Live action. What?
Live action.
What? That's happening?
You mean my favorite movie, the 2010 classic?
Leave! Get out of here! Leave! We don't talk about this here.
Despicable.
Uh,
Get out of my house. We're trying
Okay,
pizza.
so
Throw it up.
Uncle Iroh,
Give me
John
John, and then who's goes in that third spot? Is it Admiral Zhao?
It's probably Admiral Zhao.
Admiral
Admiral
Zhao.
Zhao. And then
Oh,
number,
General. He's Admiral. It's Admiralty. It's water.
You wouldn't
Sailing.
say Fire Lord or Ozai would be number 3?
we haven't seen him bend it.
Yeah. He's not.
Yeah,
in
and
book
we're dealing in book 1. So book 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then number 4 is Zuko Edison.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other standout fire.
Yeah. they
Not
don't
with
have any
names,
other-
right?
Not with names.
Not yet. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Because the only
They have,
one that I
like,
would
other generals
add
and stuff, but we haven't seen them
would be
fight.
the Rough Rider or the right whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't think we've been introduced into
Okay.
into.
And since we're still talking about Firebender, I think this is probably the best time to talk about it. Another mind-bending fact. The Firebender's duel, which plays an important role throughout the series, is called Agni Kai. Agni is a Agni is a
He's an
Agni
Agni guy.
Agni is a Sanskrit word for fire.
Sanskrit?
Sanskrit, not Sanskrit.
Sanskrit.
That's on me. No.
Sanskrit?
I don't like Sanskrit. It's rough. It gets everywhere. That's for a different thing. Sorry, we'll cut that out.
How dare you? Bleep it all out.
Sanskrit word for fire, and is a name of a Hindu fire deity. Kai can be translated from Japanese as meeting or together. Fiery meeting is an adequate description of the Agni Kai.
Nice.
I would
It's
also
those
like,
little details. And we've seen hints of these, and I'm about to like scream out why there's a certain director of 8 of the 20 episodes that it's really, really important we talk about. And I'll do that right now. His name is Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni has this wonderful, yes, Dave Filoni!
I was doing beep, 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 beep.
no, yeah.
But then we made it John
Cena.
Okay.
John Cena, you have no right to this. It's Dave Filoni.
Sorry, John. Dave Filoni
Dear John.
has done
We know
with
you
a
first.
different character, Ahsoka,
Jonathan.
what he's done with
Jonathan.
these characters. And I think when I watched this is before I watched the Clone Wars and some of the other things that he had done. Now looking back on it, I'm seeing it through the lens, the Filoni lens, if you will, and seeing how much he really did bring to the table. All the things that we talked about, the character growth of an arc of redemption, a hero story, a coming of age story, a coming of enlightenment story, in these characters that are new and fresh to the world, but their takes mold and shape over time, and then their choices aren't, well, I chose to be a hero and then I saved the day and everything's fine. Like, everything has a consequence as you go through. He did that with this show, and you could see that in the episodes that he directed. You can see it with certain characters he writes for a certain other IP we'll be doing on later on down the road in even greater detail. And that's the thing I was saying I love about the writing, because I've come to be a great fan of Dave Filoni's work, and you could see his direction in each of these characters. And then 100%. The only other element is 100%. The only other element that's missing, and it's not missing from this, missing from what I've said, is the wonderful acting that's done by Donnie Brasco, by Jack DeCina, by Mae Whitman, and then our lead character, who does a great job. 100%. Do you have his name?
I don't.
Yeah. Donnie Brasco does Zuko. Jack DeCina.
Zach Tyler Eisen.
Thank you. That's him. So Donnie Brasco does Zuko. Jack DeCina does Sokka. Mae Whitman does Katara, and then Zach Tyler Eisen does
Zach Tyler.
And I don't know what he's done after that.
Not a lot.
Not a whole lot, but he still just nails this role.
Yeah.
But then all of those other ensemble pieces are from actors that you see in other things. You will hear Donnie Brasco and see Donnie Basco in a lot of things. Yep. Jack DeCina is big on YouTube right now, Chris and Jack. And then Mae Whitman, you've seen her in Arrested Development. You've seen her in Scott Pilgrim. You've seen her in a lot of things and doing a lot of voices. And they still do voiceover work. So these are accomplished actors that at the time were
who's
probably younger than
Scott
everyone
Pilgrim?
here.
I'm actually curious.
She's one of the evil ex-boyfriends.
Oh my god. Wow. That was a mind-bending fact.
And those things need to come together for a story to really come to life. And that starts with the direction. So a huge call out to Dave Filoni for being a part of that. There are other directors here that you should follow too.
Yeah.
Because the whole season is so cohesively done.
No, yeah.
But you can tell he's got a heavy influence on it, and he directed 8 of them, including the first 2 and the last 2, which is bookending the story.
Yep. And they're, especially those last two are amazing.
Yeah.
And another quick mind-bending fact for you: the creator actually left Family Guy in 1999 to work on Avatar the Last Airbender.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. That is awesome.
And since we're talking about the beginning, the opening shot of every episode, the shot that contains the episode's number and title, is accompanied by a melody. the melody for any given episode is unique and never repeated exactly in any other opening shot. Often, this melody characterizes the episode's most significant event. For example, the melody in The Painted Lady is part of the Painted Lady's theme. And in The Firebender's Master, it's a slow version of the Sun Warriors chanting. The melodies of the first and the last episodes of the series are the different versions of the Avatar theme.
That's actually, yeah, that's really cool. I did not know that.
Is there a
That should bring you to your question.
ranking?
Yeah.
Yes. We're kind of jumping around all over the place. Hey, we're going for it. Yeah, let's talk about
Wait,
music.
hey, producer. Hey, fake producer back there. Can we jump around and do whatever we want?
No.
Go to hell.
Our producer was Mario. We've
Not Chris Pratt. Mario.
Mario,
Hey,
the original.
It's me, Mario.
We have to bleep all of that
You
out.
can hire me, Nintendo.
Copyrights.
I'm pretty cheap.
Yeah, he is.
He's practically free. He'll pay you a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
So yeah, is there any like music that really stood out to you
I'm
guys?
just going to come out and say it. The number one spot for me is the Agni Kai.
Okay.
That is. I will bring up the other show that we brought up, Naruto. That is almost, if not better for me than the fighting one, the flute song for Naruto.
Editor's comment. Make sure you bleep out that N-word.
Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't want to say N-word. My complexion.
And he's the darkest person in this room.
Yeah, but my last name's Tatum. So I mean.
You're the one that's there in this room.
So that's my vote,
Okay.
is the Agni Kai theme.
Well, I wanted to shout out the episode that has Jet in it. One quick side note: the way that he uses the hook blades, very accurate, very well done. It's super cool. Like not a lot of people get that.
We'll
weapon
get
right,
to
hook
the
blade-
ranking
hook
of the
swords.
fights in a moment.
But also that episode, I distinctly remember like the music was really good in it. Can I remember the melody? No. But I wrote down the music was good here, so I
No.
trust my past self. You know?
I totally agree with you because
Sounds like a drummer.
when revisiting in my mind's eye, revisiting that episode,
Mind's eye.
um,
My mind's at.
Just like Tuck.
Dang it! I wasn't trying to laugh. I just see you with an eye on your forehead.
It's big and red, shot blood. I'm like, stop poking me in the eye.
No, it's just Kaza Doom.
Nice. If I had the eye of Khazad-dûm, I'd never get rid of it.
Right.
Just wait for it because in the last book, we get to see someone.
Oh, it's like in the last book, I got an eye from Khazad-dûm. Let's go.
We cut to the end of the series. No, because it does bring on an Agni Kai theme. When him and Aang are fighting, it does bring on that level of intensity that this is a fight between two adversaries that, within some reality of the show, are on the same level of styles.
Mm-hmm.
Within their own styles, are on the same level, is what I'm trying to say.
Cool.
Airs and...
Mm,
I'm not going to speak.
okay.
Cool. Is there
For me, I want to call out the very first episode when Appa flies. Because the tones in that are very similar to the never-ending story when Falcor takes off. And I didn't catch it until we talked about this at an undisclosed location and an undisclosed time, not yesterday night at this very table. About we're gonna talk about the rankings, the best this, the best that, and I was like, that music reminded me of something. Let me go back. It is not straight up like they stole it, but there's a lot of tones that exemplify that. So it was that for me that really stood out. That I was like, oh yeah,
I will have to
that
say-
reminds me of that, and that is so cool
That's
because
really
Falcor
cool.
flying with I can't remember the kid's name. the storybook reader kid is.
He wasn't important.
Have you guys even seen that movie? But you know that scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very iconic, and for them to make that an iconic scene for Appa is really good.
I will have to say my second favorite, going back to the first episode, would be the theme for when they sled on the seal penguins. That was very joyful, and like I always get happy when I see them do that. Like it's always oh, I'm a kid again. Let's go sledding.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, so let's at least rank one of those, if not two of them, in the ranking. Which
Before we
Babe,
start,
do
yeah, let me.
you have
What do you
you
have?
have a preference?
A nomination that's not Bill Clinton. You're
That's gonna be dated real
unorthodox.
quick.
No, it's not, because I'm going to use it forever.
Ranking for what?
For the music.
Favorite
For music?
theme.
Yeah.
Favorite theme?
Yeah.
No.
Cool.
Okay.
I like it.
Hey, you don't need one. You don't need one.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't.
I think you do. You can wait. That's true.
Go watch season 1 again, or book 1 again, and tell us.
We'll wait.
So we have the Agni Kai, which honestly I think is a very good poll.
Oh yeah.
Because like that one, at least I have a reason, as like I kind of remember what that theme sounds like. So I think that one probably should go number 1. I just more wanted to shout out Jet's.
I love how you're like, that's the one I remember.
Yeah, well,
No, I get it. It's
That's
just
a
funny.
huge part of
Yeah.
what makes a soundtrack
Yeah.
good.
No, yeah.
It's what you pull with you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
I don't mind putting that number 1 too. It's definitely in a show about martial arts and fighting. The song that reminds you of the martial arts and fighting of it all. So yeah.
I think this is book 1. I almost don't want to call it out, but it's the one where they go to where
Wait, you've watched ahead?
no. Of course not. For continuity's sake.
Continuity's sake.
Nudity.
You
We don't have
that here. We don't have nudity, but we have continuity.
The answer is no.
what were you gonna say?
The one where Zuko uses that one lady to track down Aang.
Yeah, that's
That's book 1. Yeah.
That is book 1, where they're fighting in the nunnery, and they're fighting on top of the well, him and Zuko. By far one of the best beats and like coordinations of the motions with the music. I love that. Oh, it's such a great scene.
Did you call it the nunnery?
It's a nunnery because they have nuns there. Is that not what it's called? Am I using that word? We're gonna cut this out. 'Cause I don't want to get blasphemy.
You know what? Let's call it nunnery.
Yes. I don't know if that's the right word.
And if we
give
want
it to you.
bakers, we go to the bakery.
That's what I thought it's always been called. Is it just called a church or a
Monastery, maybe.
Yeah. Monastery?
Monastery. I believe when it's just nuns, it's called a cloister.
cluster?
Cloister.
Oh, I like
cluster of
nunnery
nuns.
better.
Yeah, it's not like you should know cloister coming off.
Okay.
Nunnery is hilarious. It's like a rookery. I keep my ravens in the rookery and the nuns in my nunnery.
I'm probably not going to be on the show, but
The archdiocese is coming after it.
Cool. So we're putting the Agni
Agni
Kai
Kai.
song number
Yeah.
1. Sweet. And since you were talking about the penguins, the seal penguins, a quick mind-bending fact for you. Almost all of the animals in the show are a combination of two animals. For example, Appa is half bison, half manatee, and Momo is half bat, half lemur, except Bosco, who is a full bear, and is said to be weird that he is only a bear. And Miyuki, the cat, that was the pet of the old herbalist.
Have we seen Bosco yet? I feel like you're jumping ahead.
Am I?
Yeah, that's
Bosco's season 2 or
Is it? Okay, I thought. Okay.
Yeah, we've seen the cat.
Yes.
And
That's
we've
why I
seen
put
that.
it in there.
But they
and
have
that's technically
platypus
wrong.
bears,
I have
so-
actually for that the koi fish are the only other ones.
No, because they're technically also spirits.
Half
Oh,
and half.
I guess true. I guess that's true. I'm actually myself.
See, and that's where I got mixed up because I thought, me not remembering names very well, I thought they were talking about the spirit bear, the big panda.
That's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not.
that's Heibai.
That's Heibai. That's right. My bad. Sorry, everybody. Light spoiler there for you, but hey, a bear shows up. Okay.
There's a bear in the book too.
I thought they had I thought they had in season 1 some regular animals besides the seal penguins too. I feel like I know there's the turtle ducks, but I thought there was regular birds at one point or something along that line.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I may have to revisit the first season again.
Well, since we've avoided the topic so long, let's rank the best waterbenders. So, of course, we got Katara.
Katara,
We got Paku.
yes. I don't
The
remember
moon.
any other.
The moon is pretty good. I was actually going to be like, hey, we do see the moon. The moon spirit. It's not like just the moon is like arms
And the
out.
moon spirit, don't they clearly say that that's the first waterbenders?
The first waterbender.
It's the moon spirit and the ocean spirit, or the moon spirit came first, and then the ocean spirit followed. I think is
sounds
how
right.
they said,
think so.
and then they have ever been
Yes.
circling each
Yes.
other in the endless dance.
Do you guys want to count the moon spirit as a waterbender? Because I think, like,
I mean,
power-wise, it goes number one.
I mean, for like quantity wise, yeah, because they don't really name, again with like the firebenders. There's not many named waterbenders until book 2.
But if we
And,
have...
and you know what? The obvious progression of characters over time, I think it's worthy of saying this one now because it might be overtaken by someone's that we're talking about in this.
The moon spirit will be overtaken?
Oh yeah,
In power level?
not in parallel.
No, in
but
finesse and skill and
skill like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can
Okay.
name one person that I feel like is the best waterbender, and it's not Katara.
Okay, I might have forgotten who this is.
It'll be in book 3 if we get to we
Okay.
get to it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. All right, we'll discuss that in book 3.
Go for it.
Okay, so...
its name is Gana. Gana.
Yes.
Gana.
Because it's
It's
backwards.
Oh, I can't read. I'm dyslexic.
That's why I said Gana. So you would be like, hang?
I still got it wrong.
He double flipped it.
I thought we were talking about someone else.
No, I was a joke.
Yeah.
I was.
You are a joke.
I am joke.
I joke.
I joke.
Okay, so the moon spirit going number 1. Paku's probably got to go number 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Katara is... We have to put her number 3 for now, but she gets
So
much
better. No. It is even in the last 3 episodes, you can definitely tell her
What was
skill level. It's my phone.
Oh.
Grows over the 3 or 4 days, or maybe a week. I think it was that she gets there.
That she's finally trained.
Especially after she learns healing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, yeah,
It
her belly...
changes.
Oh, speaking of healing, I feel like after book 1, we do see Katara do it a bunch, but I feel like that level of the waterbending side, I feel like we could have seen more of it. And I know we're gonna do much more talking about the elements, but I just wanted to bring that up that she was the healer of the group, and yet she never heals anybody except for Aang,
For now. Yes, true.
which I'm kind of upset about.
Hold on.
Know your role, Katara.
No, she healed well, she healed her own hand, and then she started healing I'm pretty sure she was healing I can't remember if it was from the episode with the earthbending where she was healing someone. But I've seen her heal other people. She just doesn't. No, you're right. She doesn't do it as often as she should.
Right.
But
don't
I think
remember the-
She
that
learns
plays.
it pretty late on.
Yeah, I think
though.
it-
I think she learns it like 4 episodes from the end.
She already knows how to heal by the end of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think that also plays into like her grandmother not wanting to just teach her healing because she was trying to break away from that whole tradition.
The whole tradition.
Oh, I see what you're
So-
saying.
She did teach her healing probably because she didn't want her to fall or rely on that too much. It's still a necessary skill, Grandma. Especially when you're out there with
Yeah.
2 other boys by yourself and you're flying.
Yeah, Grandma.
What's wrong with you, Grandma?
Don't teach your granddaughter to do everything but sewing, and then she doesn't have a sewing machine in her house, and her husband can't sew things together for, I don't know, this podcast, and then we have to use these.
You know, I have a sewing kit right there. It's that blue box.
Exposed online.
Yeah, Grandma, I'd like to recant
Yeah,
what we've said
yeah.
earlier. It's just Winnie can't find stuff.
I don't know what I have, okay? It's
You're
her
a
stuff.
wreck. You're a wreck without me.
I'm gonna put some doctor in my mouth.
Doctor in your mouth.
Doctor in your mouth.
Doctor time.
This is a sharpener, but doctor in your mouth.
Eat those shavings.
You're gonna
Chris.
need a doctor after that.
Okay.
But I'll pencil that in.
Let's do a quick conversation about. Did you want to do the airbending?
I didn't want to touch on the elements too much because I know
Okay.
there's much more to say, much more to talk about for other videos.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about on healing alone,
Yeah.
but I felt like they could have at least introduced that much sooner. But I get your point, and I think that's very vital to Katara's backstory of she's not the girl, so she doesn't have to be the one that is the support character. She can very much take on challenges for herself. So I
Until
think
she did know her role. You knew your role, Katara.
Just wish you wouldn't complain.
Which also
so
like
much.
a very
Well, your mom didn't die when you were little. So.
but she is a very well written female character.
Oh, yes.
especially for a kid show.
yes, I will agree with that.
You don't agree?
Oh,
I just don't like Katara, but that's
Okay.
separate.
Okay. So let's get into earthbending. We see a few little earthbenders, one of which is, quick mind bending fact, Boomy. Aang's friend
Oh, that
Boomy's
didn't hurt as
name.
much as I thought it would hurt.
Boomy's name literally
boom.
it literally means earth in many Indian languages. Boomy is also like he's more than 100 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, grandpa, great grandpa,
Great
very
grandpa is
good,
jacked.
and a very good earthbender as well. Do we actually see him do much earthbending though?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
When
He
he
fights-
Each of the tests.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All of that is
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah,
that's
true.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think for sure at this moment he is the number one earthbender that we have seen.
Very much so. The only other one that I would add would be the kid, not the kid that gets sent to prison, but his dad.
His dad from
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's really good.
You
Yes.
see just the level of control that he has over individual coals,
Yes.
and like
And they didn't need that much,
much.
either, which is crazy good. Yeah.
yeah, and his leaderships. You can even go back to if we're not just basing off their bender, but the best earthbenders also characterizations. Boomy, I would say, especially in season 1, defines earthbending or earthbending person perfectly. He
Yes.
is unwaverable, but knowing how to stay neutral and all that type of stuff.
Yes.
And yet will come at you with everything he got.
Real shame. I realize the 2010 movie is garbage and don't ever watch it. And
I have no
I
idea what you're
went,
talking
I
about.
revisited it to see how it compared a little bit
Oh wow.
because the movie is essentially the book 1.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
see what stacks up and what doesn't.
Good
and
for you.
What they added and what they didn't. Boomy is missing from the story.
Yeah.
And it would have been such a good way to introduce the Earth or the Earth people. They're not. Are they nation? No, they're people.
They're a nation.
Kingdom. Their kingdom.
Yeah.
Fire Nation.
Water.
Water tribes, and then
Air
air
nomads.
nomads. Got it. So the Earth Kingdom is exemplified really well in this character because one, he's a link to Aang's past. So you see a young and impetuous version of him that's bright and he sees like a future in front of him. He's got all these great like
can see
inventions and
different
ideas.
angles,
Yeah, he sees the world in a different way.
Right.
And then it really comes full circle when you realize he's not just this coot that's like torturing Aang. He's actually teaching Aang something, but he's testing for himself. Is this still the Aang
Aang
that
I
I know?
Yep.
Right.
Which is really cool because Aang realizes this is my friend and this is exactly what he would do
Oh, yeah.
when he's going through why would these things give me a hint as to his name? Oh, yeah. This is exactly what my buddy would do.
Yep.
It's so well done and gives us a full utilization of what the Earth people are because the Earth people are like that as a personality type.
Right.
You know, that they seem stodgy and they seem rooted in what they're thinking, but actually they're seeing the world from a different perspective.
Right.
And you give them the sense of trying to explain that, and you see this beautiful symmetry of how they fit into the world that's missing from the other movie. Don't watch it. I watched it because I'm a masochist. Do not watch it.
that movie.
Enjoy this episode
Warning,
instead.
do not watch Avatar the Last Airbender live action.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Until-
kid's father's name is called. His name's Tyro.
Tyro, thank you.
Should we actually put him on the list?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So
For
we'll
book
have
one.
Boomy and Tyro.
Tyro.
Okay.
Yeah. No one else would stick out in my mind. No.
100%. No.
Well, no, actually, sorry. There is one person that does a little bit of earthbending, but it's kind of cheating. Momo lifts the rock to get Katara
Yeah, it
imprisoned.
definitely wasn't Katara.
It was Momo.
Definitely Momo.
The lemur. Yeah.
Yes.
So
The
number
bat
three.
Yeah.
No. That's
Number
not good.
3 is the flying lemur.
But speaking of Momo, a mind-bending fact for you. This is an interesting one. In the early
Momo's voiced by Tara Strong.
In the early stages of writing, Momo, the flying lemur that acts as an animal guide to the group, was initially conceived as the reincarnation of Monk Gyatso, Aang's long-dead airbending mentor and friend. It would have been a reference to the Buddhist belief in reincarnation, and to show that even in death, Gyatso will always be by his side. The idea was scrapped. But also, adding on to that, Monk Gyatso is named after the current Dalai Lama, whose name is Tenzin Gyatso. In the spin-off series, The Legend of Korra, Aang has a son named Tenzin.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Wow.
Spoilers,
Aang,
babe.
Aang doesn't die.
Stop.
Sorry, guys.
And dies.
Yeah, they all die at the end of book 1.
That's it.
Are
Leave
we gonna
from
do
the
hair?
vine.
No, we're not gonna do it. It's all right.
Rude.
Um,
Shout out to Aang for being the best airbender.
Aang, aang.
and he has
and the last Airbender.
So it's great because Aang had already mastered airbending by the time he was 12. He was already a master, and we know this because we can tell that he's got. Is it because he's already got the tattoo?
Yep. He already has
yeah,
tattoos,
because you see a bunch of the other kids and they're bald too, but they don't have the tattoo.
Right.
And it's like,
which makes him like a prodigy. Like,
yeah,
amazing.
he's like really crazy.
And they
good.
already knew he was going to be the Avatar, so like it was apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a great line that Master Paku says to Katara and Aang. Some people are great students and will take on roles very well, and that's Katara. Some people are naturally gifted, and you can see that because Katara trains hard and does really well, and she is
We can go to that episode with the waterbending scroll.
right.
Yeah.
She learns it and can master it really well and is proficient in it. But you see Aang, who's
He's
just
yeah.
but he doesn't. He's not proficient in it, and so
It's another reason why I don't like her, because it's like, dude,
Oh.
you know he's an avatar. Like,
This is the
get
episode.
over it.
This is the episode where she wasn't, for me, at all just a whiny girl that like flip flop.
Girl.
Like she was like, I know I understand people, but then you're a meanie and I don't want to talk to you, but also don't do this thing. There were several times in those first few episodes where she literally goes, I don't want to push you into this thing, but we gotta do this thing. And why did you let me push you into the thing? And you're like,
Dude.
yeah. Except the word wasn't dude. And then this
Hey,
one,
girl.
it
male dog.
this one more exemplified a full personality. Okay, no, she's got not just quirks about her personality, but actual like deficiencies that she needs to work on, that she knows and sees in herself and can't necessarily stop in the moment, but learns from those examples. Like I very much like that this episode is right before the episode that they help the Earth people get out of the prison, because she's sort of trying to make up for her own like inner struggle where it's like, oh, I can be petty and jealous and not think things through. I need to be much more deliberate. I need to be much more considerate. I need to think of how a choice now can affect others and not run headlong into action, which is how they found Aang in the first place.
Yep.
And that was her. Or try to hold people back from doing what they're supposed to do, which was her with Sokka and Aang later on. And then you'll see it with Toph even more. It finally refines that.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry.
It finally refines that aspect of it, but you already see it starting to work with that episode. So I think she's really coming into a character. If you're looking at the episodes before, I'm probably locked in with you, where it's like, get this chick out of here. But
I just can't relate
really swinging.
with her as a girl. That's all it is.
I do find it interesting that you related to the 16-year-old boy as a 12-year-old girl and not to the 13-year-old girl that probably was pretty close to your personality at the time.
But like with that being said,
Personality aside, it's the maturity that I'm just like.
don't get me
grow
wrong.
up.
I will have to say this. I did feel like with Katara, and maybe this is how I was viewing it the third or second or third time through, her wantingness to see the world through a hopeful eye, or at least see that it's better than what it is. There's more good in the world than there's
quite
bad.
optimistic, yeah.
She's quite optimistic. They go a lot through book one of teaching that it's okay to be optimistic, and they do that with the earthbending when they try to free him. Her speech, like, you have to take it into your own hands. No.
No, it's just
And
like
then
where
her
she does the
brother's like-
speech.
Yeah.
No.
And her brother's like the complete opposite, where he's like a realist.
Right.
Which helps with the balance.
Right.
Because you should be realistic, but there's no reason to lose hope.
Right. And I think that was I resonate with Qatar a lot, was always seeing the good in people, or always feeling like someone's better than who they are, or represent themselves better than who they are, can be bad.
That is well done in Jet.
Yes.
That is so well
Well
done in
done,
Jet.
Jet.
One of my favorite episodes of the season.
Yeah.
Where
Because
she learns that lesson
yeah,
really well.
you can't blame her or Aang for seeing Jet that way, which is kind of the best part.
And you almost can't even blame.
No, we're with Sokka. We're seeing what Sokka's seeing because we're omnisciently like viewing it in third person. We're seeing that Jet is taking it to extremes.
Right.
We're seeing Sokka trusting his gut and knowing that it's wrong. Like, he never fully locked in. If he were earlier in the season, he would be
Jet.
seduced by Jet when he first said, like, "Hey, I've got a mission for you." He'd be like, "Yeah, let's go." He's hesitant even then. So for him to get there to that point of maturity is great. I also love that he could have, when his sister and Aang were like, "No, you're wrong," da 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 da, been like, "I told you so." He was so concentrated on saying, "Well, there's people to save. This isn't about being petty. This isn't about anything. In fact, you know what? Maybe they did this because they should call me out on this every once in a while." You get that when they're writing Oppa at the end, and he's like, "Sometimes my gut is right, and sometimes it's wrong." Appa, right?
You said Opa.
He said Opa.
Opa.
Opa!
I was gonna say has an older, it's like an endearing way to say like older male for a girl in Korean.
Oh, okay. BTS fan over here. When
No one
They're
was
writing
saying anything about BTS.
Appa, when they're writing Appa, he sort of self-deprecates in that way, where he's like, "Okay, I've matured past that. I'm not gonna be that guy who's like, no, definitely follow me because I'm the leader. Follow me because I've got a gut feeling, and sometimes we need to trust those."
Yeah.
And
Qatar
him going,
likes to
"I'm gonna
pretend.
save the." Yeah,
Qatar likes to
She
pretend to be
pretends
the
it.
responsible one in the group, and it's actually Sokka.
exactly.
Yo,
But
yes.
not at the first. You get that as a paradigm, like he's kind of allowing that.
Yep.
And the missions that they're going on, the journey that they're going on, brings out it's not your younger sister. It is you, Sokka. And it is you because you'll make the right choice. Him going to save the village and utilizing the old
And not
man,
even telling anyone.
not even saying it, like time is of the essence, is a wonderful display of him being a hero.
Yep. And speaking of that, let's get into ranking character arc, which honestly I think for book one, I think Sokka is the best, the prime
I
candidate.
would have to say,
If Zuko wasn't
Momo.
in this, if Zuko wasn't in this season, or
He
they
still
did a
has
little,
a lot of growth.
and he's
so-
and yeah, spoiler alert, he's got a lot more to come, but I feel like the arc is already so well done.
It is.
Where it just outshines Sokka by a little bit. Like, if we were, here's the problem: we could give it to Sokka, but it's neck and neck, and you know he's gonna get beat in the next one.
And that's fine, yeah. But I feel like we can't rank Zuko's
Because it's
arc
incomplete?
Because it's incomplete.
Okay, I'll agree with that.
Where Sokka, as good as it is in this book, it's kind of like he gets, not pushed aside, but he's more of a background character after this,
He's
where they,
peak.
He becomes the part of the ensemble.
Yes.
Like it's just locked into that. Yeah.
I would agree. Sokka would have the best character growth / arc for season one.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't-
Momo did pretty
Pretty
good.
great.
And Momo can be on this list, guys. Listen, Momo was taken. Otherwise, I'd have the name right now.
That would be your
That
name,
would be my name.
He
Momo.
tried so hard.
It would
to
be
get
a
the
family name. Momo, son of Momo.
I'm
Momo the Fourth.
I'm Momo. This is Luigi Momo.
Oh,
We're the Momo brothers.
hey, it's me. Oh.
No, you're not being finished.
I'll give you more of his money.
Oh, man. Okay, sweet.
But for actual second, I would like to say character Arth or character Arth. Character Arth.
I was like, I'm not gonna say anything.
Even though he is the main character, I would say the second one has to be Aang. Only because you get a lot more of his trauma and his childness fleshed out, and then his idea that, I have to take this seriously. Yes, we can laugh and play and kind of joke with the Fire Nation, but they're not stopping.
I still don't think his arc is complete, though. I think him and Zuko's arc pretty much go hand in hand with each other.
Yeah, and he does a lot to undo himself. I forgot that he put himself in the ass on purpose.
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
He didn't
So-
know, though.
He didn't know it would be
But he ran away.
112 years.
Well,
But
he
he
ran
did
away, but he
yeah,
wasn't
100 years, yeah.
anticipating a storm. He wasn't
Right.
anticipating being
No,
put in
yeah,
there for
he
1,000
didn't
years.
anticipate the full scope of what was happening, but he did run away.
He ran away.
Yeah, and so it's an interesting thing that he's the catalyst for his own demise, because when the people are complaining about it, they have some legitimate beef. Yes, he's 12, but he's the Avatar,
But
and
here's
for
the
them to
thing,
go,
it was-
"You're our future hope," and then he disappears from the face of the earth.
I want to say that it was more of an instinctual reaction from the rest of the avatars, and it wasn't him that was like, I'm gonna go trap myself in ice real quick. I think it was very much a fight or flight response
To the storm.
to the storm and to drowning.
But he still ran away, and I think that's Frank's point.
Yeah, but let's think for a
It's
second.
a very
that
Jonah story to this. Like, yeah, dude didn't intend to get thrown overboard and swallowed by a whale. However, ran away literally in the opposite direction. And you get like themes of that. Like, hey, here's my mission. What's the thing I can do in this moment? In my flight or fight response? Flight. Just opposite direction as far as I could go.
And it is his own fault for dropping those
Agreed.
leaves.
And I'm saying, yes,
Dropping those
he was
eaves.
dropping those eaves.
If he
And I'm not
wasn't
saying-
there for that
I'm not saying
conversation,
he is fully responsible for the Earth, the Earth people, kingdoms, like almost full demise and like 100 years of Fire Nation's rule. I'm not saying that, but the dominoes were set, and you just needed one to knock them over, and he is that catalyst. When he removes himself from the equation after we lose Roku, the four of us, we lost Roku.
I lost
And
him
I felt it.
in my
Roku,
heart. But he lives on.
but he does live on, especially because he's like,
He's
yeah.
Gets reborn every, I don't know, couple hundred years or so.
When he does that, it has this domino effect. So you could see that, and I think the incomplete is he recognizes that, but I think, and you see it a little bit at the end. He's still wrestling with that. There's not full acceptance or coming to terms with it. So there's where it's incomplete, and it kind of like knocks it down from like him having like I got an arc and I got a resolution. Like if anything, he has some hesitation. And it's great that he goes, the koi or the yin and the yang. But that's him being smart in the moment. He's always got that. The gift.
Right.
He's got the gift, but can he make it
Right.
like full hero status?
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Okay. Agree to
It's
disagree.
in terms of for starters, they even said it in that episode when they go to visit the air temple, where they're telling him, if you had been here 100 years ago, you probably would have died. You would have put up a good fight, but you would have died. So for me, it was more like, yeah, it had to happen.
Okay.
And it was the best outcome that they could have hoped for. Unfortunately, they had to be, patient and kind of weather through, and people suffered and stuff, but it was for the
Are you
greater
saying they had
good.
to weather the elements?
Oh my lord. That's enough. Get out.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. As our beloved mentor, Brendan Lee Mulligan would say, get in the comments. Get in the comments.
Yeah.
You tell us.
Because
You tell
I have
us
a
where
totally-
you lie, because she makes a great point. She
I have a
does.
total different reaction to this.
Like a third?
Yeah.
You should have a 4.
Oh,
and
I don't
then
have it.
you're like, I feel no ways.
And it combines both of your arguments.
Mm.
I think he ran away not only because he was a child, and so he was frightened of the responsibility. A child. Frightened of the responsibility of being Avatar. But you see in the beginning, or at least with him, once he is told and the other kids are told that he is Avatar, he is almost exiled. So he leaves on selfish terms because he doesn't feel part of the group and he doesn't want to be the Avatar at that point. I agree with you that it was a fight or flight response of the other avatars taking over, and I feel like
Aang didn't have a say. He was unconscious.
right, but I feel like with that also being said, it almost kind of counter arguments of would he still have died? Could he have not entered the Avatar state even uncontrollably? We just said his name, the other Avatar. Roku. I was gonna say Zuko for whatever reason. Sorry.
Fire Nation.
Yeah. He would have came
Apology
out.
accepted, Captain Nita.
He would have came out and he would have at least protected Aang and allowed Aang to get away. That's my argument. That I see that both. If he would have stayed, he may not have saved the Air Nation itself, but he would have survived. I don't think we would have had the same story or the same character, and he may have not have been able to beat Fire Lord Sozin when Sozin comment showed up. I'm not saying that you're not
Sozin.
wrong. No, Sozin. At the time, if he would have stayed, he would have fought Fire Lord Sozin
Ah.
during
Right.
that, and I still don't think he would have been able to beat him and still would have died. But I think he would have escaped and may have lived for another year or so. So I think it's important that he got locked in ice so he can learn the elements the way that he learned and learn the Fire Nation of why they became so strong and the different changes that he could have done and implemented.
I guess in this sense, it would have been better if he had just died, because then someone else would have been reborn and dealt with it.
Maybe so. And I'm not saying that this wasn't meant to happen. I do think that there's some like destiny occurring when it's happening, but it doesn't, in his mind, help him escape what could have been.
Okay.
And I think until he comes to terms with that, his story, his arc, isn't hitting it.
Finished. I see what you're saying.
Before we get into character design, another mind-bending fact for you. Though they are brothers, Iroh and Fire Lord Ozai are never once seen together on screen. They were in the same war room when Zuko spoke out of turn, and in Zuko's Agni Kai against his father, but they never share any dialogue the whole series.
And as we know from DC, that means they are the same person.
Yes.
Why did you say that name? Character design. What do you guys think?
The best who has the best character design?
Yeah.
Our main man Zuko.
Main Man Zuko. That's a good one.
I would say that's top
And it
one.
even gets better later, I think.
I
But
think
yeah,
Zuko and Sokka are my top 1 and 2.
You like the shaved side with the ponytail, huh?
That and especially when we see him later on when he's in full.
Especially.
We got it! Especially!
Did I say that? Especially when we see him later on as full war paint and warrior
Oh,
costume.
yeah, he looks
he
great.
looks sick.
Yeah.
He looks like a seal wolf or a wolf seal. I can't remember what it's actually called, but he looks like that and it looks cool.
Yeah. I would like to shout out I just forgot his name. The guy with the hook blades.
I was going to say, Jet is one
Jet?
of mine. Mm.
Yeah. But I feel like it's a little on the nose. Like, I like that he has the blades and that they do really well with the choreography and everything. But I think it's like the straw and the hair that's just a little bit too much. But other than that, I really do like the character.
Honestly, I
reminds-
think that no, you go.
He reminds me of a more darker Peter Pan.
Ooh,
I like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
It gives that old cartoon feel.
Yep.
I also was gonna say he feels a little bit more anime,
Yeah.
which gives this show some of its more anime tones.
Yeah. True. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to put them both on the list?
I would like Jet there. Admiral Zhao is Zhao.
Admiral Zhao?
Zhao. He has this.
Oh, yeah.
He's very tall. They always, when they're drawing him, it's effectively
He's
a
big.
camera in like a power shot position. They always give him this imposing
true.
feel.
Ugh.
They let you know, even though you've already been introduced to Zuko as an adversary, he is the villain.
100%.
Yeah. And I feel like that like carries its weight all the way through. He's always calm and collected, say for 2 moments. It was like certainly the end, but that one
Which
moment
we're
during
gonna
the
hit on
duel.
later.
Yeah, that one moment during the duel.
I would even say when he fights Aang for the first time and blazes all his boats.
Yeah.
So there's at
but
least
that,
3
that
times.
didn't necessarily seem like anger. That seemed like finality. But I agree with you.
No, he gets angry. Because he
Oh, burns down all his boats.
Boats.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. There are
That's-
3 times, which makes it scarier because
Right.
it's a person capable of composing themselves,
Those.
except for an oppression moment.
Yep. Very much like, well, that'd be spoilers. Never mind. Very much like somebody else will see.
Well,
later.
no, actually, I can do very much like for me, American Psycho. He's a lot like
Oh, Norman Bates.
Norman Bates.
Norman Bates. Yeah.
Interesting. That's an interesting pull.
Yeah, he's normal and calm and collected until he explodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're doing Zuko,
Number 1.
Sokka number 2, with
mean,
the face paint and everything
Yeah, I mean,
I think when he's fully decked out, yeah.
Yeah.
for character design. Oh, that's
I
that's a
really-
great one. Yeah. The
Spit it.
the Kyoshi Warriors.
oh snap!
I was literally gonna make that argument. Or when he's dressed like the Kyoshi Warriors.
I think the Kyoshi Warriors
Yeah.
are amazing characters. They look so good.
I wish there was more of them.
100%.
Yeah.
What did
Maybe
you
we'll
also
see
have?
more of them.
I was gonna
Maybe
say
we
Yue.
will.
Yue?
Yeah.
You wait?
She had a very like
Oh,
Daenerys Targaryen kind of feel
Yes.
to her outfits, which I liked.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna mention this last person.
And for how little she's in the show, it has a powerful impact.
Mhm.
In the 2010 movie, it's almost done 1 for 1, and the impact is missed because you have to have that yin yang element.
That's true.
And that's what the tie is. You get that tie. You get that relationship that she's forming with Sokka. You get the love triangle that's formed there with a character that we don't meet until he's practically almost killed. It's important to develop your characters correctly. And the princess is developed really cool for such a small amount of time to be that impactful to not only the story, but the characters.
I agree.
And her look is great.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we ranking all these people?
All right.
Well, I have one more to pose.
Okay.
Sorry. Only
So we have 3
because
more sections.
I know, but only because of animal design. Appa.
I think we have
I don't know if, we
have
have
an animal section.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
Never mind.
Yes.
I'll
retract.
Retract.
it.
Just read.
This
Free.
I choose you.
Read.
That's what he would say.
So with this pool of people,
Yeah.
where do we think who's number 1?
For me, Zuko, Sokka, Lee, and then
Princess Yue.
Yue, and then it would be General Zhao.
Okay.
That's for me.
Zuko still won.
Okay. Do you
Let's
agree that Zuko's one?
let's bump up the Warriors pretty high. Pretty high.
Honestly, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too. But do you think Zuko's one?
No,
Where do you think Zuko's goes?
maybe like 2 or 3.
Okay, who's number 1 for you?
Probably the Kyoshi.
The Kyoshi Warriors. I think they're number
Warriors.
2 for me.
Okay.
I agree. Zuko's number 1. So Zuko is 1. Kyoshi Warriors
Why ask?
2. Because we need your opinion.
Zuko's 1, Kyoshi. Oh yeah,
Kyoshi two?
Yes, Kyoshi's 2.
Which-
Kyoshi Warriors.
Then bring Sokka up to
There's
3.
not a single Earthbender that we think has cool character design.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh no, I don't really like Boomy that much.
I was gonna say
honestly.
it's not
It's not
that
that-
it's it's not that it's not cool, but it's not like, oh man, that's so like BA.
Yeah.
It's
Actually-
like he looks like a crazy person. I love it.
Too.
June.
Yeah.
She's okay.
June,
She's
okay.
not bad.
Oh yeah, June. That's who I was thinking of. June.
Okay. We could rank.
Yeah,
Her
the
and
bounty
Yue
hunter.
are probably my top 2.
Okay.
Okay. I don't disagree with that, and they should get really good mentions, but they're also both introduced in that last little arc.
I just want to say, June has a whip, so that brings her higher on my list. So, however you guys.
Yeah, but
want-
we're not doing that list.
Oh, never mind. I'll keep that list to myself. You do that. You do that. This is YouTube.
What?
That's right. Sorry, children.
Okay, so we've got Zuko, Kyoshi Warriors,
Sokka.
Sokka. We all in agreement? Do you like? Do you think Sokka deserves to be number 3?
Or do you
With
want
the face
Jet?
paint?
Give me number 3.
I don't really care for either of them. So.
Ooh, you heard it first here, folks.
You're the one who pulled up the picture of June.
Of Jet and
Sokka. Jet and
Sokka?
Sokka.
That's
Oh,
what
you
we're
said
saying.
Jet. I thought you said June.
No.
No, we're talking about Jet Sokka.
Yeah,
Sokka Jet.
Sokka Jet.
Jaka.
Jaka.
Or
Chaka.
Or Set.
So we're putting.
Zuko,
The Kyoshi Warrior.
Yoshi Warriors, and then a 4-way tie.
Okay,
For
let's go with
June.
Sokka.
Yeah.
Let's go with Sokka. And then under him,
June. I would say June.
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 Yeah.
And then we'll round out Jet at 5.
Jet.
And for me, Jet, I like Jet's look just
Okay.
a little bit better than the Admiral.
Well, okay.
Where I don't mind bumping him off. Yeah.
Are we, when it comes to.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. But
Are we doing
those-
the top
those parts.
10? Like, how many people do you want to add? Like, that's what I'm asking. Just to get it
Unlimited.
clear. Well, then I could continue to add people
No,
that.
for this episode.
That's what I'm
it,
saying.
For this episode.
Well,
yes.
just from now on, do you just want to do a top 5 to make it easier so we can just pull up 5 people and then vote?
Maybe we'll talk about that.
Okay,
talk about it
we'll talk about it later.
Okay, so we
Later,
still
later,
have
later.
3 more categories, guys. One is one I have been very looking forward to talking about, which is fighting scene. There are some great ones, and this is separate from best choreography. So fighting is not only about the emotion that's in the scene, but it's also the abilities, how it looks, and everything. Choreography is separate. That's just how the characters move. It could be in a dance, it could be in a fight, that kind of thing. So best fighting scene. What do you guys think?
My favorite fighting scene, and I will always say this today, is I will always say it from today until the end of my days, is when
until the end of today's.
when Zuko and Aang fight together to escape the prison.
Heck yeah.
Oh,
That
great.
is
It's good.
escape.
It's good.
Escape.
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 Escape. X Games. Xbox. X rated. I don't know.
Especially.
Put that list away.
Take it. But that is my favorite.
Okay.
Only
That's a good one.
if we're talking about fighting, it shows how well that they can flow together and fight separately. It shows their level of combat skills. You can see Zuko, who is a great firebender, also a great swordsman.
Oh, yes, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
And when I say great firebender, I'm not saying he's the greatest. That's later on.
No.
But just as the prince, he knows a lot of unique skills
Yeah.
and firebending techniques. And
Yeah.
you can see that when he fights Azula or when he fights Aang a lot of the times. He gives it his all, and Aang is on the edge of his seat almost the whole time, trying to keep
And
up.
he's for sure an expert with the shorthand sword. 100%.
Expert.
Yeah.
Expert. So I love that blend of you have someone who's a monk using his staff and someone who is a sword fighter using his swords together
Yeah.
and blowing through like 100 people.
And they're both effectively wizards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, utilizing martial weapons, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll talk more about this in
Star Wars?
choreography.
We're equating everything back to Star Wars.
We don't like Star Wars here at all.
Sit down, baby.
We'll talk more about this in choreography, but I completely agree with you that when Aang is fighting somebody and just his movement, his footwork
Is always
is very on point. His footwork
Yeah.
is very well done, and it's very detailed, and so much so it's very Shaolin monk fighting style,
Oh,
you know.
yes.
And then the firebending is completely like it's karate, you know, very
That's what I was trying to think
Chinese,
of. Karate. Thank you.
yeah. And but I love how each style has a very different. It doesn't. It all looks completely different the way that you would do those elements. So
No, yeah.
yeah, and I know it's more about choreography, but I just had to say it before I forgot about it. I would say some of the best ones that I wrote down for fights. Katara versus Paku,
That's a great one. Yeah.
great one. Aang versus Zhao, masterfully done. Great.
Aang does not throw a single punch. And it's
Amazing.
amazing.
It's amazing. It's barely considered a fight because he just wipes the floor with him without doing anything, like without throwing a punch. Like,
Right.
He does something, but also Zuko versus Zhao. I thought that fight was also pretty well done. I think it's lower on the list, but I think those are pretty good. What do Frank? Do you have any fights that you are memorable to you? There's obviously also the last fight with Giant Moon Boy.
Giant Moon Boy.
Giant fish, waterfish monster.
Giant waterfish monster Moon Boy Avatar.
I guess when Katara, like after she's learned waterbending from a master, when she fights Zuko, you can tell that there's a huge difference
Yep.
from the last time that they fought because she was barely keeping it together and she lost. And this time around, it was more like it was very much different. So,
I will have to say, because for me, it's one of the first times we see someone without fire or without bending take on someone with a bending skill, and that's the pirate captain versus Zuko. He is able to hold his own versus someone who's half his age, who is a firebender, and yet he's using basic sword forms and techniques to keep Zuko back and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. That's
That's
an
when-
interesting one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Frank?
I'm gonna go back to the fight with the freed Earth kingdom on the bow of the ship, the coal ship, because that one really exemplifies kind of the opposite of what you said, how little they need in order to bend as well as they do against a lot of firebenders, by the way.
Yeah.
And just how quickly they make work of them too. Like they're not in that much trouble once they're actually given the means. Meaning, you feel up to that point like the Fire Nation is like a really imposing force. And fire is stronger than the other stuff, and that's not true.
Yep.
It really isn't. Because these guys were freedom fighters, meaning they were fighting them in the first place, meaning they were giving them a run for their money. And now they're all collected in one place with the very element that helps them. And they are more than formidable to seasoned guards. But the people meant to guard them.
Yeah.
Meaning,
They underestimated their opponents for sure.
so I think that one stands out to me. I mean, the fire duel between Zuko and Zhao also is awesome because it's a real introduction to like fighting in the show.
And it's the first Agni Kai we actually see.
Yeah, so that one's awesome too.
Actually, going back and rewatch that, I didn't say that one for a reason, only because I feel like we don't see Zuko truly showing his strength. We see him do cool moves, but it's not so much firebending. He's mostly just breaking General Zhao's roots. And so that's really cool, showing his basics. But for me, it wasn't the fight that sticked out the most this time view.
Yeah. No, I agree.
it felt more like Zuko was just trying to show off and he was being prideful.
Sure.
So I guess that's
He was trying to put
why.
Zhao in his place. That's very true.
Yeah.
I like that. That's very.
I thought it was very smart though. He wasn't just being arrogant for no reason. Like he was, hey, part of this was honor. And yeah, I goaded you by pretending like I was angry and I'm the one who did the challenge. But you're the one, and we kind of talked about this already. You're the one who has the temper control issue. I'm not. Meaning I can get it to the root of this. You'll act impulsively. That's not who I am. Which is cool because it taught something to him. about himself. So he might have walked into that fight with pride, but maybe walked away a little bit more confident.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for his uncle, it definitely would have been
100%.
the
He
opposite
would have
of
lost
that.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, and that's another
Another
actually.
one.
It's very brief.
he's
but
only
it's,
got like 2 left.
it's very brief, but it's also
The one
another
hair in the mindset.
super worth mentioning is Uncle Iroh versus Zhao. That just like
Heck
when
yeah.
he's like you won't touch them and everything. And
I will.
right when he
Whatever you
starts
do, I'll
unleashing,
give it back to you tenfold. I was like,
such a good line. Yeah.
it's hot.
And right once he starts going, he's just bah, 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 and just wipes the floor. with
And,
it.
and
It's
in
amazing.
fact, a lot of people think he's firebending. Most of that is him redirecting the other firebender's fire back at the other one.
It's not even his own.
He's hardly firebending. And that's going back to the movie. I hate that he's able to firebend when the moon is full and it's out and there's not much fire and he just blows it up on the live action movie. I hate
Oh, really?
that. In the live action movie,
Yeah, in the 2010
live action movie,
monstrosity onto humanity.
he just out of nowhere, Uncle Iroh is just overpowered.
Oh.
Like he just shows his full strength when you're like, no, that's not Uncle.
Yeah, in this show, he barely shows like maybe 20%
of
of what
his
he's
full.
capable of.
Most of it is
And that episode.
redirecting.
Would you say
or
it's like 5%, but plus ultra?
70% of the time
didn't need
he
plus
doesn't
ultra.
He
use
didn't
it.
need the plus ultra
100%.
pride. He just gave it 5%. Full power?
No.
Okay.
There's no full Calling here. Watch the latest episode. My God.
I have no idea.
I need to watch the latest episode. We're not going to tell you what IP. Stay tuned.
Mind bend.
So but honestly, if I had to choose one out of all the fights, I think Aang versus Zhao is just such a great.
That's a great one.
Such a
Definitely put him in his place.
yeah, and
It's the fight you're waiting for, too, because
Yeah.
it's the main antagonist of the season versus our hero.
Versus
Yeah.
our hero.
And it doesn't disappoint.
yeah, and it's so quick, and after you're done, you're just like that was fantastic, yeah,
It gives you hope.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to fight.
yeah. You think, oh, if he fights him, he's gonna have to fight with fire versus fire, and it's like, no, he's gonna outsmart his opponent,
Yeah.
which
He
honestly.
doesn't have to fight one-on-one with these guys.
Especially until he learns some of the other elements, it's kind of what Aang has to do to survive.
Very much so. Very much.
So put that one.
So that's number one.
Number one.
Do you guys want to rank any others? What we're talking about?
I think we've all kind of given our opinions, and I think we're good.
We've already said all of them.
Yeah, I know.
So now we're just ranking.
Do you want to rank any other ones, or is it fine just mentioning them? We'll just have.
I think it's fine just mentioning them.
Yeah, that's still the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And maybe the Iroh versus Show.
Iroh versus Zhao number two.
Yeah. Because we all thought that one was dope,
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So we have best choreography. What do you guys think on that one?
Best choreography
Yes.
or a fight scene, I will have to say Katara versus
Haku.
Haku, because you get the sense of her, what she has learned up until that point,
Yes.
and her sense of power.
Yep.
Because she doesn't ever get the true up on him, but especially when she starts throwing the ice blades, and you see his facial reaction, like, oh, you are trying to kill me,
Like
and
you
she's
almost
like,
sliced
yeah,
my head off.
is amazing representation of a woman scorned. Don't fuck with her.
Yeah. And also like the way that they go like, oh, it's frozen, and then he launches it at her and she turns it into water again is really, really well done. I completely agree with you. I think it's number one as well on choreography.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do a fight scene. The choreography done in the slide at the beginning of
The Seal Penguin slide.
no, the one done in Boomy City.
Oh
Oh,
gosh.
That leads to the first of many wonderful lines delivered by a certain cabbage. culture.
cabbages!
That is well choreographed. As you get the full, and it doesn't happen very often in the show, a full, like, this is like a fully,
bit.
yeah, like all bit version of a chase, and it's all fun, and the stakes don't feel like stakes until the actual end. You know, it's like you could have taken out the music and put in yakety sax, and it would have been perfect. Anyway, that I felt like was a not just a comic beat, but a wonderful choreographed scene.
Sure.
That put together the tone for the episode.
100%.
Because there are good things. There's good story building. There's good character building with Boomy being who he is in relationship to Aang. Good world building because you get to see what a real master earthbender can do. But it also gives you levity. They're basically running for their lives, especially as you get further on. When you hit the winter solstice episodes they are running for their lives.
Yep.
But here you're like, but they can have fun. They are kids. You know, Aang exemplifies that dual ideal of I am really great at this, and I want to use this gift. I want to, and you realize later, kind of make up for what I feel is weighing over me.
Yeah.
But I'm also a kid, and I want to have fun. I want to do things. Mm-hmm. And this gave that full feel because all he wanted to do was do what him and Boomy wanted to do all those years ago. Then the episode ends with them doing it, and that's so cool.
Yeah. Since you were talking about that kind of brought to mind another shout out that deserves to be shown out is the battle at the Northern Air Temple. Very well done as well.
Heck yeah.
Battle at the Northern. Oh, when the tanks come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. I think, personally, we're going to vote on it, but I think Katara versus Paku, and then that's a great one, too. We can put that number 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what should we call that even though?
The slide chase.
Slide chase in the Earth Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
Omashu.
Yeah, that's the city, right?
Omashu.
Omashu.
Yeah, and Omashu.
Yep. Okay. Last mind-bending fact for you. Mind-bending facts. The calligraphy on the top and bottom of the map at the very start of each episode, form a rhyming couplet when read aloud in Chinese. The characters at the top read, "Powers are divided into 4," while those at the bottom read, "The world is guided by 1." The symbols of the 4 nations that are written in the map of the Avatar world has a literal meaning in Chinese calligraphy. For example, the symbol of water is joined with another that means virtue. For the one of earth, it means strong. For fire, it means fierce. And finally, for air, it means peaceful.
Nice.
So, yeah. Sorry, that was actually 2 slammed into each other. Yeah, my bad.
Symbolism.
Chinese.
Oh, hi.
All right. Well,
We haven't gone to that.
this is most time where we would rank the book or the season versus the other ones. But since this is the first entry into the Revisited series, this goes
It's number 2 for me.
number 1. Number 3, my lord.
Nailed it.
I loved it.
But what did you think of Avatar the Last Airbender Book 1 Water? Leave it down in the comments. And if this is the first video that you saw from us because we're a new channel, hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more content coming up for you guys.
Remember to give it a like.
Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, all the good stuff. Follow our socials. Look in the description for that.
Yeah, at nerd Instagram. Nerd School on Instagram.
Just nerd.
Just nerd.
We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube.
Yes.
Exactly.
We're thinking about, we're still talking about TikTok, but I don't think we're gonna do it.
We'll see.
It's a lot of work, guys.
Goodbye, TikTok audience.
Sorry, not sorry.
But thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. Watch book 2 along with us. And until next time,
Bye, Mom.
peace out. Stay frosty.
I was really hoping you wouldn't say stay frosty. I was like, don't say it.
Really hoping you were.